We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Keeper's Corner podcast. Brandon, what's cracking my pepper?
I don't think wow.
What's drifting my snow?
What's shaking my bacon? That is not the way I expected this to start off. He blindsides me just as much as he blindsides you all. So I'm right in the same boat with each and every one of you.
You guys got a boat? I like to go boating.
Yeah,
is it like a sailboat? Is it a rowboat?
No, it's Benchy. You know, the little 3D printed boat.
Don't know.
It's literally
feels like a meme that I'm not a part of.
It's not a meme. No, it's literally like the benchmarking print that people use to see how their printer is calibrated. If it's calibrated properly, then each little thing can be measured in its own way. So it's just a little boat, and it's called Benchy.
Oh, okay.
Somebody printed a full-size one and floated out into a river. Not even kidding. But yeah, anyway, soccer, Sogs, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's good.
Did you want me to continue that?
Yeah, go for it. How you doing? What's cracking my pepper?
Oh, God, he's back to it. He's broken, everyone. He's broken. Interesting weekend, I would say.
It had highs, lows, butlers.
You two will never be friends, will you?
No. No, he may sit on the Council of Bald White Men of America, but I will not grant him the rank of master.
Jeez. Steve, good evening. I know you aren't much of a fan of his, and I mean,
I'm
frankly,
not a fan. Have you seen our comments on social media?
I mean, yes.
Like, oh, thank God he's not there. And like. I'm like, I didn't even do any of this.
I mean, listen, we could have played better, but some things, because we did get some things called in our favor from him. Don't get me wrong, but
we'll get to that bridge when we get to that bridge.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to drive engagement.
Fair. I know. Like I said, you two will just never be friends.
Yeah.
You hear his name and it's just a chill goes up your spine.
Like you bring a disgrace to the butler, as played by Tim Curry in Clue.
Oh, wow. Now you hit me with some just retro, old school references now. Jeez.
Yeah. I figured since you didn't get my first one.
No, I didn't. It went right over my head.
You just don't know about throwing bagels and one pump, one cream. And it's not dirty, I promise you that. It just sounds inappropriate.
It sounds awful. Yes, it sounds really bad. Wow. That's why I was taken aback.
I have a t-shirt that says one pump, one cream. Caitlin hates it.
Oh, boy.
Don't call me Caitlin.
Peanut Gallery hates it.
Boy, can you tell that he is worn out?
What? No. I didn't work a lot again this weekend, and a lot more coming this upcoming weekend.
And then you found out even more.
Even more beyond that.
Oh, lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Brandon, let's talk soccer.
Haven't we already been?
I guess
We were talking refs,
we were.
but you're talking specifically Utica soccer.
Yeah, we got 2 games just happened that we got to talk about playoffs since they're finally finalized and coming up this weekend. Redundancy is redundant, but
Can we acknowledge one thing?
the player awards.
Oh, I was going to talk about Krasnik.
Okay.
The fact that they basically are, what is it? The divisional champions. Because of this past Sunday, they had a 8-4 game against Spice City. I'm doing this from memory. So congratulations to them. At least we have, and of course that's a lot of our M1 guys too. So I mean, when you're talking Krasnik, you're talking Utica players, because I mean, I wasn't there to see it in person, but I know Andrew Taylor played again in the Krasnik game. Maldini, Mohammed Hamadi, Kyle Gingrich, all those guys that played in the M1 game also played in the M2 game. Yeah, I mean, they did a great job. So, I just wanted to acknowledge that and say, congratulations on clinching the Eastern Division.
Yeah. A lot of talent at that M2 level.
Yes.
As we've seen, as they've been pulled up and necessary. I know it was like 4-4 at one point when I went out to grab something from across the hall. Went back in, did a little mopping, grabbed the last bag of garbage to run out. As I'm walking outside, I hear the horn go off. Come back in, the horn's going off again.
Yep.
Make my way back up, finish the mopping, walk out. It's 7-4. I'm like, where'd the third goal? I never even heard that. Was that while I was outside?
Yeah, it was an interesting game. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Yes, great season for them. They're off to their M2 playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how much of the team goes there and how much. Pardon me. How much goes to San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, well, I also don't know if there's any what kind of overlap there is there either. I haven't looked at the M2 schedule.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't paid as much attention as I would like to because I haven't had as much time as I would like to.
Wouldn't we all like some more time for activities?
Today was get up, watch the Nintendo Direct, get excited, then get sad about the price of the Switch 2 and everything. Followed by watching both games, MASL Monday, and the Goals and Boards episode. Plus our write-up for tonight, get that quick little image update for the title.
Yep.
And it's been like, oh boy, the day's almost gone. It's 4:30. But congratulations, Krajishnik. And congratulations to the players on the team that were selected from their fellow teammates for the Utica City FC annual awards.
Yeah.
Gordy Gerson for his community service. Sergio Jr. Banal, breakout player. Pretty easy one there.
Oh, yeah. Deserved.
Ricky Orozco for the most heart, or as I believe it should be renamed, the Timmy Goldman Award.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Wanalava, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes. Absolutely deserved.
Mm-hmm. And Nilton De Andrade, Team MVP.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to go to Calvin.
Yeah, I had that conversation with the source before where it's like, I'm like, you can't give it to him. He played 12 games. In my opinion, to be eligible for any award, whether it's team or league, you got to play at least 75% of the season.
I would agree with that.
Availability
100%.
is your best ability.
Yep. I agree with that 100%.
I guess we'll touch on it now since you mentioned him, Kelvin. Although he didn't play, he did play in the 2 G3X FC games this weekend.
Yep.
It literally just took the President's PK.
Yeah.
So he walked on the field, took a PK, walked off. He has 2 goals on those 2 shots. Did not play outside of that.
Yeah, so I mean, he played, but he didn't really play.
Yeah, I was dealing with a low-grade sprain in my ankle in high school, and I could handle kicks because it was a couple-step approach, but running and the repeated action couldn't handle. It's different things.
Yeah.
Being able to do a little bit of training or a PK isn't the same as full speed.
Also, in case you were curious, just because we were talking about the playoffs for M2, it looks like the first game is Sunday.
Okay.
In Connecticut, so at Spice City.
Okay. Out in Danbury.
Yep. So,
former home of the Thrashes.
I was surprised. I didn't even know that there was a Connecticut team. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, the fact that I saw that, I'm like, that's kind of neat. I thought it was kind of cool.
Ooh, before we get into the recaps.
Yeah.
You know how we have the Utica Riggies?
Yeah.
What would you say is probably one of the big 3 food items that Utica is known for besides the Riggies? There are two other ones.
I mean, tomato pie is going to be one of them.
Tomato pie.
Both you correct.
And greens.
The Philadelphia Phillies, I believe it's their AAA affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
Might be their AA, Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, will be doing a 1-game promotion this year where they are rebranding as the Tomato Pie. Because somehow, at the same time, and I don't know like months or dates specifically, but in 1910 in Philadelphia, tomato pie caught on and went big. And in 1910, the family that would go on to found Oskunitz in 1914 started making tomato pies in Utica.
Huh. Interesting.
So I kind of want to have a battle with Philly to find out who has the rights to...
Yeah, really.
We got Riggies. You got the Philly steak sandwich. We got to figure out who gets tomato pie or if we're doing joint custody on this.
Yeah, right? Who is the true owner?
But I kind of want to get some of that merch.
Yeah, I could understand that.
I hate it.
That sounds...
Yeah.
That's kind of right up your alley. I can see that.
Mm-hmm. So, Comets game. Get it off the way. I get the point on the prediction for this one.
Oh, yeah.
12-11.
Yep. I mean, I know you got the next one, too, so...
I didn't. On our tiebreaker, you get it on the tiebreakers.
All right, you're going to have to explain that to me when we get there. Anyway...
Because you said 11-5, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Your spread was closer, and on the total points, it wasn't enough for me to save it.
Oh, no.
So we finished the season 12-12.
No, I thought you won. I've been like, oh, yeah, you finally beat me.
Nope.
Oh.
It'll be decided potentially this weekend. Yes, Katie.
I know a tiebreaker.
What?
Who's cuter? You win.
That's biased because Michelle could vote and say that he wins.
Fine, keeper wins. He's the cutest.
New keeper or old keeper?
Yeah, that's a really good distinction.
I like the OG keeper.
Nightmare keeper or kids mascot keeper?
One word. Maui.
The weird 2D Maui was...
Oh, God. Oh, right. Anyway, yes, Kansas City.
Game. 7-6. Overtime. It's the 4th straight game, when you include the last 2 playoff games, that Utica's lost to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't pretty.
It was for 1 quarter.
I was like, yeah, it was pretty for all of 15 minutes, and then 20 minutes, and then it wasn't. Why are you tiny?
And then It looked like game-winning Gordy, but with 15 seconds left, Steph Mijatovic exacted his revenge for being shipped away after signing a 3-year deal.
My God,
The
you don't
shot
have any idea how excited I
deflected.
was too, because I was literally on point for my prediction. I had 6-5,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I was getting so excited because I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and then Steph Mijatovic happened.
And then my lack of trust in the defense came through.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, stop moving. You are bouncing like your picture is all over the place right now. It is ridiculous.
It's not even like I'm doing anything on my side to
No,
like adjust my window.
it's not you. So yeah, I'm fixing it. Don't you worry. Anyway, yeah, I was super excited. Like I really thought I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to get this. This one's mine. I'm going to get right spot on." And then yep, sure enough. And then frankly, as soon as I heard that that last play was a shootout, which I knew it was going to be based on how it was played out, I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's over. This is it. They're gonna nail this. Sure
Mm-hmm.
enough.
Yeah. Um. Be honest. The only thing that I have a problem with Butler is that he's inconsistent, and you just never know which way is going to be a foul. He's inconsistent both ways. Is the problem?
Yeah,
It works.
it's
It
hard to
works
tell.
for and against. I thought the blue on Vandegrift that when he caught Vinny on the breakaway
Mm-hmm.
was a little soft for a blue, but I get again it's well okay, kind of last defender. Um, it was more that their arms got tangled, and then he tried to step away, and I don't think Vinny let him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Vinny made him take him to the ground.
Yeah.
Smart play. I think the blue card on um, Schlier, the one where he almost kicked a guy in the face, or may have. We don't really have a great angle on it.
Right.
I think if you have a better angle and you do find that he connected with the guy's face at face level, that probably should be elevated to a blue and a yellow
Agreed.
because we don't want dangerous plays.
No,
And
that's the last thing we want.
unfortunately, on that last one, we don't have a good angle to see what Butler saw.
Agreed.
Once again, my rants about this come down to if we're going to use review, we need to give the officials all the tools available. And not having cameras on both sides of the field is a failure.
It is. Absolutely. Like
Not
it's
to mention the video quality on this was just awful.
like I you know, we complain about it elsewhere. We complain about it here. I mean, it's just, having clear, concise video to be able to handle these types of situations. We need it here. We need it everywhere. Plain and simple. Like that's what we need across
I'm
the
not
league.
expecting 4K high-speed cameras,
No, of course not.
but like you and I shouldn't have been able to get better picture quality using a laptop on public Wi-Fi for the live stream that we did after the All-Star game than many of the teams have for their game broadcasts.
Yep. Absolutely.
And sitting there watching the last 5 minutes of the Grishnik game, I'm like, oh, there's a spotlight up there. You would ladder to go get to it. That would give you a good camera angle from this corner. And there's a spotlight in that corner for when, they have concerts.
Yep.
And you need them on stage. Boy, you could take those lights out and put cameras up there for game nights and have those extra angles. But
You sure would help.
boy. Can't do that.
No. Need more lights.
Mm-hmm.
Need more cowbell.
All right. Stat that tells the story for this one.
Am I going first? Wasn't sure if
Your
you.
choice.
I was pausing. I'm like,
Because
I got it. I'll go. I mean, what really kind of sets this game apart, or not sets it apart, but really kind of shows how close this game was, is the amount of shots per team. The fact that this was literally tied 31-31 just shows how down the middle this was. Yeah. We had our some goals early. They didn't have some till third quarter where they really picked things up. I know they had one in the second, but they didn't really pick things up until the third. But this was a very back and forth game from start to finish. These two are pretty. It just really showcased how I feel that these two teams are pretty evenly matched for the most part. So. What about you?
Look, it's a disappointing ending, and nothing spells disappointment more than pointing out that you had a 3-goal lead, and then you had a 4-1 lead, and you lost the second, third, and fourth quarters to force overtime.
Yeah.
You couldn't hold the lead.
They tried to do what Utica used to do, which is, and they didn't do very well at it, which is get through the game or get up and coast. They didn't do that the next day, or the following game. They did in this one, and against this team, you are not coasting.
Yeah, no, you can't take your foot off the gas against any team in this league.
No. Nope. Can't underestimate any team.
Like, both goalkeepers had over 700 save percentage. Literally, the difference was the shootout goal.
Yep.
Hard fought. They sat Santana. We finally got to see Niamsi in this.
Yes.
I would have liked to see him play Sunday just to get some more reps with the team. He looked pretty good for having not seen live action in a month.
Definitely a rough defender, not in a bad way.
Yeah. Good on one-on-one, physical.
Yep. Physical defenders more is what I meant to say. But yeah, definitely a good addition in the back there, for sure.
I don't know, just something about this team when things get chippy. You just feel things slip away from them.
Yeah.
The kind of like the old as Bo goes, so goes the team. Except I don't know if there's so much an emotional leader as there was with Bo.
Bo had his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Like nobody would question you on something like that. He definitely let his emotions dictate a lot of his action on the pitch. So, that adage that you used makes total sense when he was around.
Yeah. Play that changed the game for this one. For me, it's that Schlier blue card. Things had already started getting a little chippy. There was some pushing and jawing right before the half.
Yep.
Guys had to get broken up. Not sure what sparked it. Didn't really see it. On the stream, camera cuts away, then all of a sudden it's going back. And then you come out, you get a power play in your favor. And then within 3 minutes of giving up another penalty, the game's tied.
Yeah. I'm just going to put this out there now. This is literally mine. I was going to say basically what started off that 3-goal stretch for Kansas City is really the play that changed the game. So yes, the blue card that started that run 100% changed the flow of this game, changed just how it was going and frankly how it ended. So yeah, absolutely. They took control after that, and you felt like Utica was on the back heel for the remainder of the game, even though we never actually were chasing. We were always in the lead or tied right up until the end. So, but we felt like watching, it felt like we were on our back heel the whole time from that point on.
Yeah, if Utica escapes with this, they get the 5 seed.
Yep.
And they'd be rematched with Kansas City. But that 1 point of difference brings us to a 7th matchup with Baltimore.
Yay!
As for the Sunday game, not a lot to say. It was 13-3. I mean, we both had Utica putting up double digits.
Yep. It was
I think
thrashing.
Utica played more starters than I would have expected. Just with Gordy and Vinny out there, specifically the older guys on the roster.
I think that was more. I honestly felt like that was more of a keeping them fresh.
Okay.
That was something we brought up. That I mean, granted, they played Friday as well, but I don't know. I mean, I think that's just them wanting to be fresh. Keeping themselves on point. At the game again, this game basically meant nothing. So, I mean, that's my only guess as to why that they would have played is to just make sure that they don't go cold before next weekend.
Yeah, I'm just glad they got out of it without getting injured.
Yes.
That's all I can say.
That was the big one. I almost got injured in that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. One of the errant shots that Texas took when they were down on the end where the stage is. Yeah, one of those errant balls was about 2 feet to my right because I was in the Zetlin. And it was right there, smacked into the wall. I was talking to somebody next to me, and all of a sudden I hear thwack, and it was right there. I was like, and there was a nice dent in the wall too. But yeah, I was gonna make the joke and say that was my play that changed the game for that one, because that one, scared the crud right out of me. Oh, that was scary. I was on the lookout from then on. Just
Brandon trying to be the reason that we have to extend the nets and put glass up all the way around.
That one would have hurt too.
Yeah, a stat tells the story on this one for me is 10-second half goals. You're going to win a lot of games when you put up 10 goals, period, but to do it in a half, it's just one team that's trying to fine-tune ahead of the playoffs, and another team that is just ready to go home and get to the off season.
Yeah. I mean, this was the high note for the fans if we don't make it through the playoffs. This was a high note for the fans to be able to go out on home turf with the guys. It was a nice way to end the regular season. And again, if we don't get to see them again for the rest of the season, because, we basically, in order to see them play at home again, we have to make the finals. So this was just, I don't know, this was a nice game for us to be able to enjoy with a good win. regardless of who it was against.
Yeah.
My stat actually goes in line with what Steve said, because Drew Taylor had a fantastic game. This was the type of game that we needed to start him on. We needed to be playing him against the Harrisburgs, mostly the Harrisburg games. Like, after, we got a couple of them under our belt, he should have been just taking them. And he showed that he's a good keeper. I mean, he had a 78%, almost 79% save average, with 14 shots against and only 3 goals. So, I mean, he had a great night. He was watching him play as well. I mean, he got in his head after his one hiccup. The one that he basically kind of let in. But after that, we were literally yelling to him, like, stay out of your head. And then we scored not a couple minutes later, and the next thing you know, we were yelling to him, like, we got, the team's got you, the fans got you, like, trying to keep him in the game. And I don't know, he's going to be, I think he's going to do well. I mean, he played well in this game, and then he played well in the M2 game as well. So, he's got promise. We just didn't get a good showcase of it the first time that we get to see him play against Chihuahua. So,
yeah, like
it was unfortunate.
He got thrown to the dogs in that one. And
yeah, the rabid Chihuahuas. Savage Chihuahuas even.
you already took your joking play that changed the game where you almost died.
Yeah, pretty much.
For me, it was the Schlier second goal. Opened it up, started a run. That was the end of things for really.
Not even started a run, started the run.
Yeah. Started the second 3-goal run of the game. And at that 6-2, the game's not over, but you feel it slipping away after Texas.
Yeah.
And then by the time they scored again at 8-3, it's over.
Yeah, there's pretty much not much. There shouldn't be much you're going to be able to do from then on. I mean, we've seen comebacks. We've seen 8-2 comebacks before. But it definitely
we
shouldn't be, against these guys, against this Texas team.
Yeah, that's really it. It was a drubbing and a little bit of a tune-up. So it sent off the regular season. That was 24 games up, 24 games down.
God, it went by like, it felt like it was a long ways away at the beginning of the season, but it flew. Once things got going.
The heavy back end of the schedule, really.
Yeah.
So, Utica finishes the year 13-9-2 with 41 points, 6th in the league. 176 goals for, 153 goals against, plus 23 goal differential. They went 7-4-1 at home. They went 5-6-1 on the road, or 6-5-1 on the road.
It's a positive schedule on the road, which is a little surprising because I just feel like we did struggle a little bit.
We like to see a little bit better record at home.
Of course.
I mean, I'll say right now, my bold prediction where they won 17 games had them beating St. Louis, which they should have.
I agree with that.
Had them defending home turf against Baltimore in both of those games.
Which they did once.
Yep. But they would have won the other two. I had them going 3-3 against Baltimore. Whether that was 3-0 at home and 0-3 on the road, or 2-1 and 1-2. Whatever, split series.
No, I get what you're saying.
And I had them splitting the series with KC. And that was the difference.
Yep.
Four games. And every single one of those games that went the wrong way was decided by 1 goal.
Which, I mean, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. But it means my bold prediction wasn't that wild.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't as bold as it was made out to be.
At the time that I made it, we didn't know Kelvin was going to be gone.
Yeah, one of the unknowns got you.
Yeah. Yeah, with
That bum.
one of the unknowns that really, hopefully can be avoided in the future.
Hopefully. Yeah, I'm.
Fantastic talent, arguably the best small-sided football player in the world. But
You're only
I'm
best when
gonna
you're
speak
there.
for gonna speak for myself. Yeah, availability is your best ability, and if you can't commit to the full season and playoffs, I just stick him on the inactive roster next year.
Yeah. I get the feeling that, they retain the rights to him so
Yeah,
that no one
he's
else
under
can
contract, so they can.
yeah, just so that no one else takes him. But I think that it would, in my personal opinion,
Mhm.
money better spent elsewhere on a good talent that can be there consistently.
Kind of like Jake Dangler with Harrisburg, who had to leave for his outdoor club in the middle of January.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
man, he was a talent. He was a nice find. He was a scoring defender, good defensively as well. And for a team that uh, just they had a 71 better goal differential than Texas and an 11 goal differential better than Dallas, and they finished below them in the standings.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get to beat up on Texas and Dallas.
Right, exactly.
They also didn't steal any big road games like Texas did against Milwaukee.
Nope, they took their one Baltimore win that they almost always get every season, and that was about the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, Texas, 230 goals given up.
I know, and a lot of those, and probably half of those are Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, 218 goals for.
Yeah.
Chihuahua's definitely going to be the one to beat in the playoffs. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, Brandon, last weekend's in the books. What tune-ups do we need here before the playoffs?
I think our biggest thing is our defense has been faltering in the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like, we started, also, I've given up on trying to fix your window. It's all over the place. So now you're a little bit smaller than me. You're going to stay that way until it gets aside. There it goes. It just snapped back into place. I don't know anymore. Don't you freaking move.
Hi, Katie.
But I really think that, it's like we kind of started to praise the defense, and then I started to feel like we started to make mistakes. I really feel like, I think one thing that, and I get it, they want to be part of the offensive unit as well. They want to score goals. But I think we need them to kind of hang back a little more. Be a little bit more stay-at-home defenders versus aggressive push. Seeing like Juan run from midfield to the corner, transition like that. Mm-hmm. That's scary. Like, that kind of stuff is scary because, yeah, he's a fast guy and he can get back. But if they're already at, the yellow line and he's in the corner and he has to sprint back, he's at a severe disadvantage. Mm-hmm. So I really feel like we need to make sure that our defenders are staying back well enough. They can push up midfield a little bit further than that, mm-hmm. but we need to make sure that they can get back in transition, because what we used to be known for was the quick transition, high counterattack is what we've been hit with a lot, and that's what's mm-hmm. cost us. So that's one big one that I think needs to get tuned up. I don't want to take more, so I figured, give you a chance to.
Okay.
I do agree with Steve too about cleaner and
Tighter
tighter
passes.
That's been a thing for the whole season.
Yeah. Joey Tavernisi talked on this on MASL Monday.
Yeah.
And that is Utica uses this futsal style of trying to get the ball out of the defensive end, where it is a lot of passes to try to move around versus kind of a boot it and go get it mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even saying boot it and go get it, but you got to push out of the defensive end faster.
Yep.
To address that point from him. Specifically, though, for me, what needs to change is we need to settle on a lineup.
Yes.
There have been so many moving pieces with injuries and rest, and we know who's in net. It's going to be Andrew Coughlin with Andrew Taylor backing him up. You have 14 other spots. And I know the focus for the team is glass cannon offense, but there needs to be balance for the playoffs.
Agreed.
You have to have some kind of defense.
Yep.
Obviously, losing Berger hurt. He was really starting to come into his own. If he's back next year, I think he could have a pretty big leap. But losing him when we did really hurt. Starting in the back, you got to have Juan. You got to have Nelly. I know I kind of harp on Nelly for his age at this point because sometimes he will get burned, being a little that half step slower as Father Time catches up. But he's also still really good at one-on-one. And when it's close, positioning, that's where he excels.
Yeah.
You got to have those two. As long as he's healthy, put Niamsi or Logan in there. You can't just run this two-person defense. It's killed you in the second half of the season.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hopefully Nelly's healthy for this weekend because he wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Shalier is technically listed as a defender, but he's a forward. I don't know why he's listed as a defender.
Yeah, clearly he's playing forward.
Yeah. So you got 3 defenders. You got 11 spots left. Pretty easily, you're taking Vinny, Pinal, Gordy.
On one line?
No, not at one line. Those are 3 forwards. And I would say your top 3 midfielders are Nilton, Gio, who had a stellar second half. He didn't play these last couple games.
Mm-hmm.
But he had finished the season with 5 goals and 14 assists. And you need someone that can create. And then your choice for forward. This is going to be tough. Do you take Nate Bordeaux or do you take Emmanuel Belliard?
I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Belliard.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning as well. I hate to say it, but that's where I lean.
I really hate to say it because, Nate is one of the OGs, but I feel like ever since he came back,
mm-hmm.
he has not been up to where he used to be, which very likely could just be caution. He doesn't want to get hurt again.
Yeah, and he got injured in the season as it was. I like him on the bench.
Yep.
It's single elimination. You need that flash in the pan.
Yes.
You ride the hot hand. And right now, the hot hand is telling me go short on midfield.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm taking Belliard. He had an okay season. But your hot hand right now includes Rashad Amati, who had 13 goals and 8 assists in 17 games, and Manny Silva, 9 goals and 4 assists in 11 games, with 5 of those goals coming against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Pinal has also feasted against Baltimore this season.
Yeah, definitely Manny Silva and Amadi have really excelled on this team this season. So, they are absolutely some of the better talent in the middle midfield. Wow, could not get that word out. So, they are definitely high choices in that regard.
So I think we still have 3 spots left. Didn't have the best season, but he started to look a little bit better here at the end. And the chemistry with Nilton intrigues me, which is Ronnie.
Yes, I knew you were gonna go with that. As soon as you said the synergy with Ronnie or with Nilton, I'm like, we're talking Ronnie.
One, do blast. Where are the other 3 blast games?
Blarst.
City. I think, again, it's a risky one. He's played most of the season, 22 games, and not a ton to show for it. But a good chunk of Keaton's performance did come against Baltimore.
Okay.
And then, I'll take Belliard there, or potentially Shalier as the last guy on the roster. He seems to be a little too physical at times.
Yeah.
But he did miss all of January and half of December and half of February.
Yep.
He came back against the Savage, second game. And then he had a 2-goal game against the Ambush, 2-goal and assist. Just got a hat trick. He had a 2-goal performance against the Heat. He had a goal against the Blast in one of the 2 games that they played. Just he had something different. He's a little more technical. Like, it's just kind of I don't want to say high risk, high reward, because he does still seem to have some body control issues.
Yeah. A little bit. A little bit of a struggle.
They led to a couple untimely blue cards in the past 2 games, but those are the only blue cards he picked up on the season. So,
God, I was just looking at the stats. I did not realize that Juan has 25 blocks.
Yeah, which doesn't seem like that much compared to the rest of the league. But a lot of his defense isn't about getting in front of shots and taking them away. It's about forcing bad angles.
Yeah, forcing bad angles and just stealing the ball. He's very good at that. Sorry, I mean, I was just looking at the stats over here, and I'm just like, wow. It just looks high for... Oh, and then I just noticed Nelly has 26, so never mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you gotta give the Iron Man there, though, to Nilton and Juan, the only 2 guys on the team who played all 24 games.
Yes. I think you have to drag Juan off that field, I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. But those are my... again, the back end of the roster is a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
Toy Tavares has had some pretty good showings. He's listed as a defender,
Mm-hmm.
but he has some offensive flash in the pan. Big performance against Texas obviously helped. 2 goals,
Agreed.
2 assists.
Agreed.
But yeah, it's we'll see what it is.
Yep.
Positive takeaway.
Did you want mine?
I'm gonna say this might have been the best possible outcome for the playoffs. As much as I want to beat Kansas City, and as much as I hate to see Baltimore again, 7 times this year, it's good rivalry.
Oh yeah.
The teams haven't met in the playoffs since 2018, 2019.
Yep.
We remember how that ended.
Yeah. Yeah. Our season ended.
Mm-hmm. And it's Baltimore. You're familiar with them. Hopefully, Dieguez can recover in the offseason. Unfortunately, he suffered a fairly catastrophic injury
right
in
at
their game against
literally
Texas.
the worst time.
Dislocated ankle and broken fibula. He's going to be on the shelf for some time.
Yeah.
It's not an easy one to come back from, especially once you start getting into your 30s.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's on neutral territory.
Yes.
On a blue turf. On a full-size field. And Baltimore went 5-6-1 away from home this year. Utica away from home went 6-5-1.
Right. We did slightly better than them.
Slightly better. It might be a better chance they're going against Kansas City again.
I have a kicker for you.
Yeah.
Baltimore has not played on that new field.
No, they haven't.
And I will tell you right now, I don't know how it is in person. Somebody that goes to the games would have to tell me, but that turf is jarring. Not to say that that's going to be a huge factor in this, but it's a factor. You know, this is going to be completely unfamiliar territory for them in this season, whereas we've been there already.
We have, but we didn't play on that turf. They still had the old green turf.
True.
The blue wasn't there yet. Hopefully they can figure out. I haven't tuned into any of their broadcasts since they put the first blue turf out there, and the white penalty boxes hurt my eyes so much that I just haven't watched again.
It's a little better. I mean, I watched the Sunday game because I was really interested to see who was going to the playoffs between Tacoma and St. Louis. So I watched that whole. I watched until San Diego went up 4-2, and then I was like, it's over. That's it, done. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's okay. The turf's all right. It's not as jarring to look at as it used to be, in my opinion. Again, maybe they just adjusted the gamma on their cameras or something. Yeah. I don't know, but it's a little bit better. So.
Yeah. Any positive takeaways for you?
For the season overall or the playoffs?
Yeah, for this weekend and the season, kind of. Given the possible outcomes, I think ending up against Baltimore was the best chance for us.
Yeah, I think just overall the positive. I kind of already said it, from this past weekend. Just the positive takeaway was we got to end the season on a positive note. End the regular season and potentially the last fan interaction with the team until next season. The last Utica, basically the last home game. We got to have the last Utica fan interaction with the team be a positive one and end the season on a high note. So that way, if, we're all watching on TV and things don't play out the way we want, at least our last live interaction was a good one. So that kind of, for me, coming out of the weekend made me feel good as a fan. So, I'm sure that I'm not the only one that felt that. It's like, regardless of what happens, we got to end on a high note. We really got to kick some butt, and we had a good game. The second game, anyway.
Yeah. All right. So before we get to our playoff preview, I guess we'll address the question from the fan page.
Yes.
What defender would you take from any club next season to boost our team? I can't say because I don't know who free agents are.
Fair. I want Pat Thompson.
I know you want him back. I know.
Listen, he would fit well into our quick counterattack play style because he is fast and he can definitely get back when needed. I think that he would I think that, you've got Juan as the kind of the heavy defender. Nelly kind of counter, it works well as kind of being his counterpart. But we need the fast defenders. And I think, not seeing much of Niamsi yet because we've only seen him in one game. But I would love to get Pat back on our turf. So, and obviously personal bias on my end, but yeah, I'd love to see Pat Thompson back in Utica blue and black.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I didn't even have to think about
this
it.
guy just because he was traded. He went from bottom of the league scrub to San Diego. We saw him in the All-Star game, and I talked about, man, I want this guy traded to Utica before the season's over.
Yep.
Christian Quintana.
Yep.
Man, that just physical. He's had some great seasons the past couple of years as far as blocks go.
Yes.
Which, considering Utica tends to have a block problem. Like, we don't block a lot of shots compared to the rest of the league.
True.
That's somebody that can step in with that veteran leadership, help guide if he's back, Jace Berger or any other, or Toy Tavares kind of guy into being that type of defender. Because the one thing about forcing guys to have bad shots is there's boards, and depending on where it goes off the board, it can just end up a wall of scora.
Yeah, it can. Absolutely.
And we've gotten burned on Wallace Scoras so many times this year.
Yeah, we really have.
Well, yeah, it's hypothetical. I don't know if he's a free agent. I don't know if he'd even want to move to the frozen tundra that is the Northeast.
Yeah, we've already seen that doesn't work out for some players.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'd rather have versus, thinking about, locking in a defender for next season? I want our inactive roster to be cleaned up. If I had one wish between now and next season to get cleaned up, it would be that. I want to see Christian Segura back on the field because I know he's been playing in Texas. He was also, I think he was on M2. No, he wasn't. But he was on, I'm thinking Rafa. Rafa was.
You're thinking Rafa and M3.
M3, yep. But
Yeah,
I know that
Christian looks silly down there.
But Christian's been playing in Texas as well, in the MLS, Major League Indoor Soccer. I forget the team. Christian Segura. Because I'm trying to remember. Armadillo.
Okay.
He plays for the Armadillo Bombers in Armadillo, Texas. So, I would love to see him back. I would love to see. I don't think we're gonna see Toby no matter what. But see Jace Berger back. Actually be able to play Curvin. He's been playing M2. And then see Thason Santos. I would love to get and also get Rafa back.
Yeah.
And hopefully Babukar.
I hear Rafa's stats in M3 because they're gonna sound comical.
Probably just monster stats.
Because the other guy on M3, apparently there are two guys on that team that need to get called up to at least M2 ahead of him. Or not ahead of him, but okay. So in 5 games, our little menace put up 6.6 points per game, 16 goals and 17 assists.
Oh.
Third on the team in points. Ahead of him, Jamison Raley, 26 goals and 11 assists in 8 games. And Eduardo Figueroa, 27 goals and 11 assists in 9 games.
Yeah, so he would be on pace to
He'd be, if you put those numbers into M1, he'd be double Kelvin almost.
visa issues, basically, as far as I'm aware. To
my
answer that
knowledge,
question.
Yep.
So they have less kind of like lesser requirements or something like that, or
Yeah,
it's
it's
easier
not
to get that visa.
technically a paid job. I believe you pay to try out for the team and everything, and then it's all sponsored.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, what a ridiculous stat line.
Yeah. But that's all I'm saying. Like, if I had one wish, one between now and next season, that's it. Get these guys off the inactive and on the field.
Let's get this guy up a level, at least one. Played for the Sahara Gunners. Douglas Shibuyi. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that
Shabuzi.
right. Tshibui. 10 games, 43 goals, 8 assists. Even if he's coming to M2.
That's like 4.5 goals a game.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, let's get him to M2, see what he can do, and then work out the paperwork to get him to M1.
Seriously.
Because as we've seen, guys that can do pretty well at M2 in this system seem to adapt fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Utica's a good use case for that.
All right, playoffs. Got 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday. Friday night, 7 p.m., it kicks off with the number 1 seed, Chihuahua Savage, taking on the 8 seed, St. Louis, who locked up their position with Tacoma's loss.
Yes.
Kind
of squeaked in there.
Chihuahua won both the games they played this year, but both those games were at Corner Sport. And
this ain't at Corner Sport.
This ain't at Corner Sport. Chihuahua comes in. They've won 5 straight, so they're fairly hot.
Fairly.
They're 8-4 on the road. But listen to this. They have a plus 104 goal differential.
Yeah.
We know what it's like to be on the other side of that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we gave them, a lot of that goal differential, unfortunately.
About 13, over 10% of it. Whereas St. Louis, minus 6 goal differential on the year. 151 for, 157 against.
Respectable.
They traded away Frank Tayu. They cut Uzi Tayu. Lucas Almeida, though, led the league. He was the pass master for the season, 24 assists.
I was going to say, they kind of started to look better without the Tayus, honestly.
They've been better in the second half. They've gotten faster, more transition soccer.
Yeah.
We did hand them 4 goals in the game that we played and still almost won it. So
true.
Who do you got winning this one?
I can't bet against Chihuahua on this one. I mean,
take a Chihuahua.
No way. If St. Louis pulls this off, it is going to be the upset of like the decade.
It could be closer than a lot of people think.
I agree, because field.
But Chihuahua, I mean, they didn't look good at Harrisburg.
No.
But I also didn't pay attention to see how many of their regulars they brought, and who knows how much the indoor rain delay just messed with them mentally.
I was gonna say, I'm like, yeah, they tried to drown everyone too. Oh,
Um, second game on Friday. It's 10:30. It's a rivalry match because then guess what? 3 out of the 4 matchups are rivalries.
yeah, that's kind of it makes things spicy.
San Diego versus Empire. San Diego has won all 5 games this year against Empire. Of those games, 3 of them were decided by 1 goal.
Yep.
1 was decided by 2, and the most recent one played at Front Wave was decided by 3 goals.
Yep.
San Diego's the 2 seed. They are undefeated at home. They have a plus 33 goal differential, second best defense in the league at only allowing 119 goals. And they go up against Empire, who had a more potent offense than San Diego. They scored 13 more goals, but they allowed 26 more.
And I think that is more owed to their play style
Yes.
of basically playing constant 6 attacker.
Yeah, it's GK6 attack or something. And it's high risk, high reward.
It's not even that. Sometimes, I mean, if they go on a power play, they literally go 6th attacker. Like, they go the super power play and they take their goalkeeper right off the field. I've seen them do it multiple times. So, I think...
Yeah, they gave Utica a pretty good fight through 3 quarters.
Yes, they did.
That was with Kelvin.
Yeah.
Though they finished the season 12-10-2. Brandon,
Yes.
what's your heart telling you on this one, bud? So we're both going Chihuahua in the first one.
Oh, if you think I'm going San Diego on this one, you are crazy. Because this is one of the first times in a while that I have been able to watch the Empire Strikers make it to the playoffs. I am honestly, given that they are my second team, of course I want to see them win. And frankly, with their uptick, with Justin Stinson, Marco Fabian has been doing just fine. But I think as long as they can control the counterattack and get their goalkeeper back, whether it's Orozco, whether it's Clayson de Lima, whoever they need to get back, even if they maybe shake things up a little bit and don't play as offensive, we all know they're going to. Yes, Empire. But yes, I'm sorry. I'm going Empire on this one. I want to go Empire on this one. I want to believe. So I'm saying upset.
Now, did you know Philly was in the chat before you said that?
I had no freaking clue. So that just energized me even more to go with my prediction that I was already planning on going with. Because I want them to win.
Look, I love madness. It's March. Well, it was March. It's April now. So the madness has ended. And to be fair, March Madness this year was very, very boring. And I can't pick against a defense in the playoffs. I can't. I know it's a 1 game. It's home turf. And there's just something, until you get that, until you can crack that wall and break through, it's just there in your mind. And Philly could probably tell us better. It's been like 3 years since Empire has beaten San Diego. They might have won once here or there in the past couple seasons, but San Diego has dominated this rivalry. Much like Baltimore historically has dominated Utica / Syracuse, especially in the playoffs. So I got to take history. I got San Diego. advancing
Boo.
on this one.
Boo.
I'm not saying I like it. I picked Kansas City to win Friday night. You think I like picking against the team, the underdog, the home team that I'm rooting for? No, I don't like it. But history says otherwise. That said, if Empire can't pull off the upset and spoil this for San Diego the way that the home opener should have been spoiled for them, then there's not much else to say.
Mm-hmm.
2/8/23. So
I was getting there.
2 years. It's been 2 years.
I was just pulling up the 2022-2023 season because I wanted to find out.
I guess it depends what kind of betting man you are. Is Empire due, or do you just go with the trend?
Empire's is owed its due.
So I don't know if you caught
And
goals
not
and
just
boards
Mountain
yet,
Dew.
but I'll give you, just for fun, I'll give you what Phil's line from this game was.
Okay.
San Diego, minus 1.5 goals. So if it's a 2-goal game, Empire would win with the spread. Anything else than that, or if it's a 1-goal game, Empire wins with the spread.
Okay.
And he had the over-under at 9.5 total goals. 3/7/23. Okay. So 2 years. It's been since the Taiyu era.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it was back when Taiyu was on the team. Not that, he necessarily would carry, but yeah.
No, but even if he was the focal point of the defense.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
Philly, you're killing me here, man.
But I'm easily taking the over. I think we're going to see a high scoring, like 9-7 kind of game.
No, wow.
Messi to MASL. What? All right.
But yeah, there's not much more to say,
Yeah.
I've just been, I've been watching, Empire games whenever I can. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult sometimes because of the time difference. But if I'm not watching them live, I'm watching the replays. And frankly, I have been enjoying and liking what I've been seeing from the team. And
yeah, I think Obasi's coach of the year.
100%. And you know what? I'm just going to put this out there. I wasn't his biggest fan when he was in Utica. He's done well as a coach. I mean, they're back in the playoffs under him. I mean, he's obviously doing something right if he was able to get them to the playoffs. Not that he does all the, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Coaching
wise, he got into the playoffs. The players did it for themselves, but
right. 4 Saturday games. We got Utica and Baltimore in the first one. This is the one that everyone came here to hear us make our predictions for.
Yep.
Utica has lost 5 games on the year against Baltimore. They only won 1, and Kelvin was there for that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, Baltimore 5-6-1 away from home. Utica 6-5-1 away from home. It's blue turf. Baltimore better defensively, 123 goals allowed versus Utica's 153. Utica's slightly better offensively, 176 versus 167. So who you taking, Brandon? Do we have a back-to-back upset?
I want to, obviously I'm leaning towards Utica, but it's also difficult for obvious reasons. So here's my thought. If we bring a lot of these M2 guys that we've been using very effectively, given the fact that they've had more playtime since the last time we went against Baltimore. They've had more experience. And going against the younger, fast Baltimore team, I think we have a chance in this one. I think it's going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to be a 1-goal game.
Okay.
Out in San Diego. I think it's going to be 1-goal game. Obviously, in my heart, I want it to be Utica. And I'm going to go with Utica for my prediction. But it's going to be 1 goal. It's going to be like 6-5. I'm gonna stick with. I know I said my 6-5 last week. I'm gonna say 6-5 again because, as you mentioned, the defensiveness of Baltimore. And if Utica can keep their defense in line, it's just gonna come down to who finds the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they haven't seen as much of a lot of this younger M2 talent that we have, and if we use them, it's I think we have a better chance.
Okay. It's gonna be tough because we won't know availability until later in the week.
As always.
If we know it at all.
As always. Baltimore will just put everyone as probable.
Mm-hmm. And to my knowledge, it looks like nobody has been suspended for the playoffs, so. Whew. I'll be honest, this one is a coin flip in my book. It really is.
Why do you think I couldn't go any higher than 1 goal?
You look at the 2 games that Utica lost at home to Baltimore, they were both 1-goal games.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was the bobbled ball by Coughlin in the final minute.
Yep.
We almost had a fight there.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Utica was up, and then they had a bad third quarter, and that spelled the end of it.
Yes, it did.
The offense is clicking. I like that. But the defense continues to worry me.
That has unfortunately not changed.
Yeah, and it's here we are at the playoffs, and it's not been a matter of if they make a mistake, but when and how many.
It has felt that way, unfortunately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, against what I want to say, I'm riding with history on this one as well. I'm going to say Baltimore 5-4. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels saying that. I don't like the way it tastes.
No, it's pretty. It's painful. It's a little bit. I know.
I don't.
We have people on that team we like, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we are Utica fans, and we want to bet on the boys.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
well,
yeah.
So that means that either you are going to break the tie for us this weekend, or you're going to have the opportunity to. Well, actually, you'll have to send me your predictions if we end up making it to Sunday. We'll have to exchange predictions before the game privately and then share them after the fact. So you could end up tying it back up.
The reason I'm having us give predictions for all the teams is because each game's going to be a point.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So we'll tiebreakers the playoffs. Who can predict the playoffs better?
Fair. Well, I'm not giving you scores on the other ones.
I'm not worried.
Winners and losers
scores
is
on
good.
This one.
All right.
It really doesn't matter who. If you win 13-3 or lose 5-4, it's win or go home.
Yeah, because so far we've literally split. You said San Diego. Well, Chihuahua was Chihuahua. That one was
Chihuahua.
So we're split on the Strikers and Sockers, and we're split on us and the Blast.
Right. Game 4. KC Milwaukee.
This one's gonna be tight. This one's gonna be a tight game.
10:30 on Saturday night.
Yep.
They played 3 times. The home team won every time.
Yeah.
It's neutral turf. Kansas City. Not as good as I expected this year. Milwaukee. Not as consistent as I expected this year. They traded away Robert Williamson. They got Frank Taiu. Kansas City added Steph Mijatovic. Is Ejimadu healthy?
I mean, you still have, regardless if
And then you still
Ejimadu's
have Neto.
healthy, you still have Neto. Now, granted, Milwaukee's got Willie B, but in that fight, I'm personally taking Neto. He won the goalie face-off at the All-Star game, so
It's yeah. I mean, are you taking Willie B or are you taking Neto? Are you taking Frank Taiu and Ian Bennett, or are you taking Zach Reggett and Rian Marquez?
I know which one I'm taking. I want to find out which one you're taking first.
I know who I'm taking as well.
Is it the same?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, which one is it?
I'm taking Milwaukee.
Okay, we're not the same. We are not the same.
And that is because I believe in who I believe should be the MASL Breakout Player of the Year, Saucy Sanchez.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Don't get me wrong. I have talked up and down early at the beginning of the year about this roster they had in Kansas City, but they've underperformed. They haven't been great down the stretch. They got better since Marquez got back.
Mm-hmm.
He's been phenomenal, 2.3 points per game in 19 games. Mijatovic certainly adds something. He's basically only played a half game for them every game that he's played.
Right.
And he's still put up 9 points in those 8 games.
Yep.
But man, there's something about just the dual threat that Sanchez is with his speed, where you still have Ian Bennett with his technicality on the back, and Frank, for his age, is still, he can go toe-to-toe with any defender physically.
Steph included?
Yeah. I don't know if technically wise he can beat Steph, but if he's drawing him one-on-one and they're body-to-body, we saw him last year in Utica be willing to lay it off and let somebody else have the glory.
That's fair, but I think I honestly think Steph is literally the X factor in this whole thing.
That's fair as well. All I'll say about Frank is in 6 games for Milwaukee, he has 13 goals and 7 assists.
Yeah, he's done well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, this was a good trade. He has excelled in Milwaukee, 100%, no question. But I think that this Steph is literally going. Like I said, I really believe he's going to be the X factor in this one. And who else are you going to put on? You literally have Steph and Chad Vandergriff that you can alternate. No matter which line Frank is on, he is covered by a big dude. And I think, in my opinion, that they haven't. The only reason that they have, that Milwaukee got their 2 home wins is because this wasn't the same team back then, and neither were they. Because they haven't played since. I mean, yes, they played at the beginning of March, and they did very well. But the other one is kind of a toss-up. It was a toss-up back then, and with the changes that have been made now, I don't know if it would have been as much of a toss-up. So, I mean, I'm going KC on this one. I know that some people in our friend group have problems with certain players on that team. I don't, because I have never had a bad interaction with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you've got some good weapons on that team with Rayon Marquez, with Zach Reggett. You've got, Robert Palmer is another good one. But, I mean, I think, like I said, I think that Steph adds another layer to that. Yeah, he's a really good defender, really strong defender, and he can take some nasty shots too. So, yeah.
Yeah, no. If they cut him loose and he plays the whole game, that's very different than if they hold him back and he plays half like they've been.
Which I would think this would be the first time that, he absolutely would play a full game.
Yeah. But only time will tell. Saturday night, we'll know a lot more. Sunday, we won't know matchups until after Saturday night because they reseed.
Right.
So if somehow Chihuahua gets knocked off, you could see St. Louis play San Diego on the next day. If San Diego gets knocked off, you could see St. Louis play Empire.
Yeah.
Or Chihuahua play Empire.
Which that one I'm less confident in, but I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Those games on Sunday will be at 5 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. here out east. So we'll figure things out and go from there.
Yeah.
Saturday, there's the watch party that was announced today for 72.
You sound so dead inside when you say that. Like, there's a watch party.
So Friday,
please
we
don't
stayed
come.
open because of the soccer game.
Yeah.
My day on Friday started at 8:30 in the morning, and I left there at 12:45 in the morning. I'm not looking forward to another long one.
No, I get it. Like, I get it from your perspective. I completely understand where you're coming from.
I was also hoping to be out the door by like 7:45 and catch the second half.
Womp womp.
Look, I'll say it right here. They still haven't settled on if the kitchen's even going to be open or if it's just going to be beers.
Oh.
Or if the kitchen is open, if it's only going to be open till halftime.
That'd be fair. Halftime would be fair.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I expected. But when we made it to Wednesday without an announcement, I went, oh, I guess we're not doing anything.
Surprise!
And then at like 6 o'clock, I get a message about it. Like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Thought you were going to escape.
Yeah, I thought I got out of this. I like the job. Man, we're just getting really worn down. Everyone's getting worn down at the end of the season.
Oh yeah. I mean, I totally understand it too. Like, it's hard.
So if you go, tip well. Servers were all everyone that was scheduled was expecting to be out of there after the puck dropped for the hockey game.
Yeah.
And get there with decent time. Should be a pretty good crowd for hockey. It's first responders weekend.
Oh.
Friday night is firefighter jerseys. Saturday night is popo jerseys.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
And yeah.
Say it sounds like
Order your food in the first quarter. Let us get cleaned and out of there.
Yeah, I get that. I do.
Deep fried Oreos.
All of the deep fried Oreos.
Don't get pizzas. God, I'm so tired of pizza.
I was actually going to say, getting a pizza and then having it to eat throughout.
No, we have a single conveyor belt oven that can do one pizza at a time.
Yeah.
So when you get like 6 pizzas on 10 tickets, you are backing up tickets for half an hour.
Yeah, I get that.
And then you get a table that's like, oh, we're 12 people. We want 4 pizzas.
It's going to be a minute.
Okay, no more pizzas.
Yeah.
Get burgers. The burgers are good. They're fast.
Burgers are excellent.
Sort of pretty much everything on that. I don't really have any complaints about much of anything on that menu, so.
Yeah, the nachos are a good feed the table kind of thing.
I do enjoy the nachos.
You can always
those
ask
are
for
good.
the queso on the side. That way it doesn't get soggy. Chips aren't getting soggy while you take your time through them.
As soggy.
As soggy, yeah.
Peanut gallery doesn't put down French fries.
Hey, I mean, you do you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's yeah. Hopefully we'll see Utica win, even though I predict them to lose. But that's just because I still have this weird belief that defense wins championships. And last year I said defense would win championships, and defense won a championship. So
Yep.
I have yet to be.
I would, at this point, I would take anyone except for Chihuahua and the Sockers to win. Because I don't want to see a three-peat, and I just don't like San Diego.
Yeah, I really don't want championship being. It's going to sound racist, but it's more just that I can't engage with the sport as much when it's in a language I can't understand. It's enjoyable to watch, but it's like watching subbed anime. The ADHD brain doesn't let me do that. I've read it. The scene is still going on. I need the scene to move, so I'm not just reading and reading and reading. Or in this case, it's like, go!
Yeah. Oh, I gotta pay attention now. What happened? No, it's hard to follow. I get it. I understand.
If they do that, at least give us an English broadcast, Philly. Or yeah, let's get Bigsy out of retirement again. Or
I'm still waiting for the
Anybody.
Philly Bigsy crossover. I like that's my dream right there. But that's a far off. I mean, we had Bigsy and Bergerud, so I mean, we at least had that
I was
one.
gonna
But
say Philly and Eric would work.
yeah, I'd take that.
Let's get some neutral announcers for the championship series, if that's what it comes down to.
Yes. Nothing ruins a game more for me than listening to homers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a few of them in this league. Most of them are good, and some of them, some of the homers are good.
Some are improving.
Yes, but there's just some that I either have to mute or suffer.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what's going on with Utica and the very clippy audio that's happening lately.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I gotta figure out what's going on, and I don't know if they fixed it. I haven't tuned into a Milwaukee one in a while, but it was really tinny.
Yeah, I remember that too, but I haven't watched them at all this. Actually, I don't think I've watched them at all this season.
Here and there, bits and pieces or highlights, but
Yeah, that's about it.
yeah.
Like goals of the week, stuff like that.
Unfortunately, going from a set schedule to the floating one that I've had this year has made it a lot harder to follow.
Oh, of course it does.
Anything.
That's how it ends up being. I get it. I've been there. I understand.
Yep. All right. If this is the end for the season, we'll be back next week to do a fond farewell. If Utica gets through this weekend and we have a finals game hosted at Utica, we'll be back and as crazy as ever. Hopefully crazier.
I think it will be nuts in there if we make it to the finals because people have been wanting it for so long.
Mm-hmm. And after the Pioneers lost in overtime this past week in the national championship, Utica could really use a palate cleanser.
Could use a little something. Yeah, I agree.
Until next time, I'm Matt. I'm Brandon. Go Utica.
And let's get the win this weekend through Sogs.
Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X. whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing. Go Utica City.